of baseball.
At Marlins Park in Miami, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Nationwide. Speak with Rich Grillo in Massapequa or John Camara in Hicksville today. By StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the New York Mets. By Budweiser, the official beer sponsor of the New York Mets. This Bud's for you. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Just 4 games remain in the regular season, and the Mets find themselves on the top of the heap in the wild card standings. Brought to you by Empire City Casino. The Giants have 5 remaining. The Cardinals have 5 remaining. The Mets' magic number is 4. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Miami. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play the rubber game of their series against the Miami Marlins. You know, the Mets offense very quietly has begun really pounding the ball the last week. 59 runs in the last 6 games, and last night, for the first time since Jay Bruce was acquired at the trading deadline, he and Yankees Cespedes both went deep in the same game.
Well, I've started to see the signs of Jay Bruce's bat coming to life, Gary. That last game of the homestand against the fighting Phils, and his first game here, he started to hit a couple balls hard. Well, yesterday last night he got himself 2 big hits, the home run. Starting to wait on the ball, being very quick. This is so key for this ball club. Cespedes, who has been struggling throughout the month of September, hit a tremendous bomb last night. And let's not forget Lucas Duda. I didn't think this would happen. Lucas really swung the bat good last night. It could be the beginnings of a perfect offensive Mets storm here. With those 3 power bats coming to life the final 4 games, I like what I see.
Duda's a little sore today, so he's out of the lineup, but the other 2 will be there in support of Seth Lugo, who has been everything the Mets could have hoped for since he went to the rotation.
What a success story he has been. 7 starts. The Mets are 6-1 in his starts. How is he doing it? Sometimes it's hard to explain because he's given up his hits. He's given up some line drives, but you know what he does do? With runners in scoring position, the opposition's hitting 163. That's a great number.
Jose Urena doesn't have very great numbers for the season, but he's got 2 excellent starts under his belt against the Mets.
He came up after the All-Star game. They needed a starter. He has had 3 good starts. The 2 that you mentioned against the Mets, both the same, 6 innings, 4 hits, and only 1 run given up in each of those games.
So the Mets try to keep it rolling. Only 4 games to go in the season. They finish up here in Miami. Mets and Marlins, all the action coming your way on SNY. St. Brendan's Church here in Miami for Jose Fernandez, but today was a day for the fans and his teammates to say goodbye. His family wanted him to come to Marlins Park one more time, and that gave the Marlins team and their owner Jeffrey Loria a chance to put their hands on the hearse that held the casket with the remains of Jose Fernandez.
I was riveted today watching it. I was on the road when the hearse was driving on the highway. People on the highway pulled over and stopped their cars. No one drove while he passed.
A blessing at Ermita de la Caridad with his mom in attendance, and then the casket removed to St. Brendan's for the funeral tomorrow.
Well, this is the third consecutive day for this Marlin team, and they laid it all out on that first night when they defeated the Mets. And again, with what they've gone through today, I think it's going to be a very difficult for them tonight.
Their grieving process continues. Meanwhile, they have to keep playing baseball, and they'll do that tonight against the Mets when we come back. Park today. Marlins will finish their season on the road in Washington. The Mets finished their season in Philadelphia over the weekend. Mets have a lot to figure out between now and the weekend about how they're going to handle that last series in Philadelphia. We'll talk about that as we go along. Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup tonight. Same lineup as last night. Rene Rivera gets another start behind the plate. He's been catching all of Seth Lugo's starts. James Loney's in there at first base. Lucas Duda was in the original lineup, but Lucas, after playing 9 full innings last night and running the bases quite a bit, a little stiff today. For all, remember, he missed 4.5 months of action, so he'll sit today and probably be back in the lineup over the weekend.
Well, the Toyota numbers of Jose Urena You know, I was talking in the pregame about Urania. He had 3 really good starts. He went 8 2/3 against the Dodgers. That was his best start. And 2 6-inning performances against the Mets. He's got a good sinking fastball. Doesn't always know where it's going. A little slurve kind of breaking ball and a changeup.
And the defense for the Marlins. Coors Light defense. They're going with their big guns, of course. This game is of much importance with Stanton out there in right field, the big guy. Everybody in the infield. Bohr having a nice series against the Mets. And Mathis is the only change in the lineup, the backup catcher, Jeff Mathis.
Marlins are still mathematically alive. They're 5 out with 5 to play. So any Giants win or Marlins loss, they're done. I think that's the last thing on the Marlins' minds and has been all week.
We do have to say, though, with all that has happened, you have to really tip your hat to the Marlins organization and how they've handled this most difficult of time.
And they have had similar praise for the Mets as the party of the other part and how they've handled matters as well. This is it's kind of an unprecedented situation, this series, and the Mets with so much to play for, and the Marlins just, I think, wanting it to be over. Let's see how the Mets have paid tribute to Jose Fernandez as well. Here's Jose Reyes leading off against Jose Urania, and the first pitch on the inside corner, a strike, and we're underway. Reyes 3 hits in his last 3 at bats last night, 4 for 11 in this series. And he pops one up in foul ground. Bohr should have room, and that's the first out of the night.
It's the second ball that I've watched, and it looks like it's almost going to hit the ceiling here in this series.
That's a long way up.
I know, right?
I'm a little puzzled as to why the roof is not open tonight. It's a beautiful night in South Florida. It's 80 degrees. There was a little rain this afternoon, but it all seems to have passed. This would seem to be the ideal night if you're ever going to open the roof here. It's only been opened 7 times in 80 home games this year. There's Asdrubal Cabrera, 4 for 9 in this series, and he lifts one to left field. Should be easy for Ozuna. And quickly there are 2 out.
Weren't you trying to explain to me once that the folks here enjoy coming into the air conditioning? They like that kind of.
I think what happened when they played all those years at Joe Robbie Stadium with all the names that it had is that so frequently fans would be disrupted by late afternoon showers. They canceled batting practice, made it uncertain whether the game was going to start on time, and they were promised a temperature climate controlled environment, and once they had it, now they have it all the time. They don't need it.
Yeah, I'm not an AC guy, so it's not my favorite.
Yoenis Cespedes hit a long 2-run homer last night, his 31st of the year. That's his only hit in this series so far. And he loops one into shallow center, and Yelich will off the plate on the hop, and the Mets have the first base runner of the night. So Cespedes with a 2-out single.
Well, never cheated. You can see he's ball's outside corner. Had to let go with one hand off the end of the bat, broke the bat. And probably was looking for something middle in and didn't get it.
So now 2 out with the Cespedes at first, and here's Curtis Granderson, who all of a sudden has become an RBI machine. 24 RBIs in his last 25 games. Drove in 3 runs last night.
The umpire here, duck. He hears the crack of the break of the bat. You just don't know what's going to happen.
That's Bill Welke behind the plate tonight. Ball and a strike to Granderson. One of the things that's happened in this last week with the Mets scoring 59 runs in these 6 games is that they've begun to score more runs without the benefit of the home run. They got 2 home runs last night from Cespedes and Bruce, but they also scored 8 runs without the home run, and so the Mets percentage of runs that come in on the home run, which was well over 53% all year, is down to 51.4%, which is now not the highest percentage in the majors. They're second to the Orioles. And that's certainly a good sign as we head toward postseason, that the Mets can find ways to score runs other than the long ball. Well, it's been an RBI starved season most of the season for Curtis Granderson, but over the last 3.5 weeks, he's tied for the most RBIs.
Well, when it's crunch time.
Porsche leaderboard. He's got a 3-1 advantage, and he takes ball 4, and that's the other thing Curtis has been doing lately. He's been drawing more walks, on base for the 9th time in his last 17 plate appearances. And now the Mets have 2 men on for the suddenly hot Jay Bruce.
You see the catcher, veteran Jeff Mathis, already out there to talk to his young right-hander. He can have fits of wildness, so trying to calm him down.
Well, he's got the funky arm delivery, Ronnie, isn't he? He's kind of a slinger.
He reminds me a little bit of Pedro's older brother, Ramon Martinez. That long arm action. Ramon was an excellent pitcher.
So here's Bruce, 3 for 9 in this series. Last 4 games, 6 for 14 with 2 home runs. Homered his first time up last night, and he takes the pitch outside for ball 1. Jay now has 31 home runs for the year, 94 driven in, top 10 in the league in both categories. Cespedes at second, Granderson at first with 2 out as the Mets try and get off to a fast start. And Bruce goes after the off-speed pitch, and it's 1-1.
You know, a lot of pitchers are taught to have a little tighter arm action. Watch how far his arm goes, almost straight back towards second base. The longer the arm action, the harder it is to hit the same slot every single time. That's why he has control issues.
28 walks in 79 innings this year. A little over 3 walks per 9 innings. 1-1 to Bruce. And he gets another change up and away, and it's 2-1. Urania, 25 years old. He was in the bullpen for the Marlins early in the year. Joined the rotation in July, spent some time in the minors. His last 2 starts have been awful against the Phillies and the Braves, that combined 5 innings and 12 runs allowed. An ERA of over 21 in those 2 starts. And he misses outside and falls behind 3-1.
Remember, we used to talk about Santana, how he repeats this motion. See how long he takes that out, and by the time he gets all stretched out, his arm lags. It's behind him, and it's behind you. You're always going to be away to the left-handed hitter.
It's a lot of strain on the shoulder, too, is it not? And big long stride home.
So Bruce with a positive count, and he drills one to right at D. Gordon to end the inning. So Bruce hit another ball hard, but he hits it in the wrong spot, and the Mets strand 2 in the first. Marlins tonight. As Keith noted, only one change. Jeff Mathis, the backup catcher, in there for JT Realmuto. Otherwise, Don Mattingly rolling out his 8 team against Seth Lugo tonight.
The only issue for Lugo the last few starts, last 30 innings, is that he was so good at not giving up the home run ball. It's come to haunt him a little in the last 30 innings. 6 given up.
Including back-to-back home runs to Ryan Howard and Cameron Rupp in his last start against the Phillies. Dee Gordon's been the catalyst in the first 2 games of the series. His emotional home run on Monday night, a bunt single to get the Marlins started last night. And he slashes one foul, 0-2. Gordon 5 for 9 in this series. Marcell Ozuna and Martin Prado to follow. Seth Lugo, the leader of the Mets emergency brigade, and the Mets are 6-0 in the last 6 games he started.
Remarkable. After the season and numbers that he had in Las Vegas.
And the slider hit down to first. Loney handles it and wins the race by an eyelash and beats Gordon to the bag for the first out.
Defense for the Lexus Mets. Same outfield. Curtis Granderson in center. We never thought he'd play this much center, but he's done an outstanding job defensively out there patrolling the central. And the infield, Loney in the lineup with due to his back problems. Rivera 2 straight starts behind the plate.
Here's Marcell Ozuna, 2 for 9 in this series. Has sloughed off a little bit after a great first 4 months of the season. And goes after the curveball and misses, 0-1. Lugo just missed away. A ball and a strike. Seth made a start against the Marlins in late August at Citi Field, allowed 2 runs in 6 innings. Had a relief appearance against them earlier in the year and didn't fare quite so well. Remember, he began by filling a gap in the Mets bullpen, made 9 relief outings before he joined the rotation. That's lost his first start in San Francisco, but they've won every one since. That's drilled foul. 2-2 to Ozuna.
Well, Lugo was in the rotation in Vegas. He wasn't doing very well, so they tried to put him in the bullpen to see if he could help the Mets as a bullpen guy. Then he came to the Mets and he wasn't very good in the bullpen, and then they needed him to start and he took off. So I don't know. The development of Lugo is hard to even explain.
So what you're saying is that it makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
Just about as much sense as it does for a 34th round draft pick who didn't even have good numbers in college to be doing this in a pennant race. The curveball misses inside, 3-2 to Ozuna.
Well, there was one year when Terry Leach, who was my roommate in AAA, went 11-1 for the Mets, and he had been kind of a journeyman reliever, come in and get a batter out because he threw sidearm, and he was just spectacular for 6 months.
And a 1-out walk to Ozuna. So Ozuna aboard with Prado coming up. Follow Mets baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app, which includes game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Prado, who's gone 0 for 8 in this series. Grounded into a double play last night, the 24th ground ball double play for Prado this year, the most of any hitter in the National League. He drives this one to deep left field, and that ball is long gone. Martin Prado with his first hit of the series, a big 2-run homer, his 8th of the year, to put the Marlins in front 2-0.
Well, we just mentioned it. Lugo throws a lot of strikes. He challenges a lot of hitters, and they've been able to hit the ball out of the ballpark of late.
Well, he's relied on that sinker, the right-hander, Ron, that gets under the bat. But this one right here, he dropped the barrel on this, Prado.
along with Giancarlo Stanton. Martin Prado has been one of the spokespeople for this Marlins ball club also this terrible week.
Christian Yelich grounds one slowly down to Loney, and that's the second out.
Well, here's the bomb, and it was a bomb. Wants it away. Oh, straight run. No sink at all. Stayed straight. He got it inside, but he just turned on it.
8th home run of the year for Prado, and for Seth Lugo, the 7th home run he's allowed in the last 31 innings. So the Mets quickly fall behind in this game. Here's Giancarlo Stanton with 2 out, and he drives one to left center field. That's going to go up the gap and all the way to the wall. And Stanton cruises into second base with a 2-out double.
This game is starting a little bit like the Bartolo Colon game. Some balls hit awfully hard. Bullet here, Keith, from Stanton.
Up. He's a good high ball hitter. Out over the plate. Pitch him there at your own peril.
So 2 extra base hits in the inning. And now Justin Bour coming up, and this is one of those situations where you might not intentionally walk Justin Bour, but with Jeff Mathis, the light hitting catcher, on deck, you certainly can't afford to let him beat you.
I'd walk him. I'm not kidding. Because Mathis is the guy that barely hits 200.
They are.
Okay.
Well, Rene Rivera just gave the sign that they're going to walk Bour. So Bour is 5 for 6 in this series. Will get the intentional pass, and Mathis will come up with 2 men on. Now the caveat on Mathis is that all of a sudden late in the season he's begun hitting a little bit. Guy was a lifetime 200 hitter. Over his last 16 starts, Mathis is hitting .321. But the Mets will take that chance because of the way Bour has just pounded them for the last 2 years.
And if Real Muto was catching tonight, you wouldn't be able to do this, or you wouldn't do it.
Tickets for a potential Mets tiebreaker game at Citi Field go on sale this Thursday, September 29th at 2 p.m. If the Mets finish tied in the standings, they could play at Citi Field Monday or Tuesday, the 3rd or 4th of October. The tiebreaker game would be played for the right to advance to the wild card round. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. So an early moment of truth in this game for Seth Lugo, already down in the game 2-0, facing Mathis, who's hitting .244 for the year, his 35th start of the season. And he takes a strike on the inside. Stanton at second, Bour at first with 2 down. Ball and a strike to Mathis. Seth Lugo 20 pitches deep into this opening inning and trying to find the trapdoor. Gets the breaking ball in for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Mathis. Opposition hitters hitting .163 with runners in scoring position against Lugo. That has been his saving grace. And he gets it done again as he strikes out Mathis to end the inning. First strikeout for Lugo, but the Marlins jump in front on Prado's 2-run homer. 2-0 Marlins after 1. This is before the game today. Bartolo Colon shagging. Mets have to make a decision about Colon. He threw only 47 pitches in his ill-fated outing on Monday. And right now, Bart is scheduled to pitch Saturday in Philadelphia. But there's some thought being given, and I think Bartolo was the first to think about it, that maybe the Mets will pitch him Friday instead on 3 days rest.
T.J. Rivera hits one right over the bag and down the line, and he's got an extra base hit.
So T.J. Rivera just continues to get base hits. 2 hits last night and a leadoff double his first time up tonight.
He loves that ball middle of the plate in.
He sure does. Toe tap. He's been raking. He's been solid.
So now James Loney, who was not in the original lineup tonight. Lucas Duda was penciled in, but Duda was feeling a little bit too sore after his good night last night. And so Loney in the lineup, his first start since Sunday. And he takes Lone away for ball 1. Anyway, we're talking about the Mets rotation this weekend. The rotation right now reads Gesellman Friday, Colon Saturday, Syndergaard Sunday. Now, if the Mets have clinched a postseason berth before Sunday, obviously Syndergaard will not make a full start. They'll get him ready for the wild card game on Wednesday. If it's still in the balance, Noah will pitch Sunday. So if Colon pitches Saturday and Syndergaard has to pitch Sunday and the Mets get into the wild card game, they need to be forced to use Bart on short rest in the wild card game. So the question is, would you rather have him on short rest this Friday or potentially on short rest in the wild card game?
Well, let me throw another little wrench in there for you.
Loney gets a hold of one to deep right. Back goes Stanton to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here. James Loney goes deep. A 2-run homer to tie the game. Loney's 8th home run of the year. And the guy who wasn't supposed to start tonight gets the Mets offense off to a good start. And it's 2-2.
Was ever thus.
Well, it's been a ball club where it's been different, someone different every day, which is really fun from a team standpoint. Oh, fastball right up and down the Piperoni. Can't do that in the big leagues.
Piperoni, which rhymes with Loney.
That's Gary. You're quick. You're the only one that got it. Ronnie missed it.
I did.
Bomb. It's a towering
That's
shot.
a couple of home runs he's hit here at this ballpark this year.
That's right. He hit one off a left-hander here, if I recall, when he first came over. It was his first road trip, I believe.
Mike Dunn, maybe?
Can't remember.
Oh, he's always the only left-hander in the pen.
Oh, he got roughed up yesterday. The Mets were very rude to him.
1-2 to Rene Rivera. So Rainier gives up the 10th home run he's allowed in 79 innings this year. So Prado, not a big home run hitter, hits a 2-run homer to put the Marlins in front, and Loney, like Prado, his 8th home run of the year to get the Mets even. And a half swing and a miss by Rivera for the first out. First strikeout for Urania. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. There are the matchups for the other wild card contenders tonight. The Reds will throw the best they've got. Anthony DeSclafani against the Cardinals in St. Louis tonight, and Mike Leake and Tyler Chatwood, who's pretty much the best the Rockies have, will go against the Giants tonight in San Francisco, and Jeff Samardzija. Seth Lugo bounces one out to short. Echeverria waits on the hop and throws him out.
You know, guys, I can't express how important it is as a starting pitcher when you give up a run or two in the first inning and your team comes right back. They did it in yesterday's game after a run was scored in the first inning off Syndergaard with the 2-run home run, and again early in this game.
What's the feeling for you, Ron, when your team does that for you?
You're like, thank you. You picked me up. I started off bad. Now I can, you know, it's a mulligan. I can start all over.
Reyes takes a strike. Right before Loney hit the home run, you were going to add another thought about rotation plans.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. You were telling me the weather. In a perfect world, if you need to pitch, you want Cologne and Syndergaard to have to pitch if you need them to pitch to get you in, right? If you had to. But what happens on Friday if you got bad weather and you decide to start Bartolo Colon and it kind of hour-and-a-half rain delay and you can't pitch Cologne any further? I mean, that's another kind of weird thing.
There's another strange thing going on with the pitching over the weekend having to do with the Phillies. The Phillies have shut down Jake Thompson for the season, so they have one game this weekend that they've designated a bullpen game.
Oh no.
They were going to make their bullpen game Saturday.
Yeah.
Start Alec Asher on Friday, bullpen game Saturday, and then their best pitcher Jared Eichhoff on Sunday. But because Saturday, this is weird, because Saturday is now a national TV game, Pete Mackanin said, I don't want to have a bullpen game on national TV. So he might have his bullpen game Friday and pitch Asher on Saturday. Reyes hits one toward left center, and over comes Yelich, and he's got it to end the inning. Is that not the weirdest thing you've ever heard? James Loney gets the Mets back even, 2-2 in the middle of the second. Seth Lugo back even as we go to the bottom of the second. Denny Echeverria takes inside for ball one. Echeverria 3 for 6 in this series. Pitcher Urania on deck, and then D. Gordon after the Marlins sent 7 men to the plate in the first inning. And it's popped up in his shallow right center. Bruce comes in to get it. 1 out. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, in the first inning, you guys were talking about how unlikely this Seth Lugo story is of being a late-round draft pick and having this type of impact on the Mets this year. But it's very interesting how the Mets were able to look at him and say he's a guy that potentially could help us down the road here. As you may or may not know at home, Major League Baseball has a system now in all 30 ballparks called TrackMan. It's somewhat complicated, but essentially at its core, it uses Doppler radar technology to be able to pick up 27 different type of metrics to allow teams to evaluate their players. And this offseason, when the Mets were trying to figure out their 40-man roster, Seth Lugo's spin rate stood out so far above everybody else's. Guys like, Matt Bowman, who's now at the St. Louis Cardinals, or Paul Sewald, those two guys having better numbers than Seth Lugo at the minor league level. But the Mets were intrigued by that specific metric, and they said to themselves, it's worth hanging on to this guy, see what he potentially could become. I don't know if anybody thought he would have this type of an impact, but it's just another example of these new metrics, new technology helping teams make more informed decisions.
Lugo strikes out Urania for the second out. Steve's report brought to you by your Tri-State GMC dealers.
Well, I think it's great that you have the ability to track all these things. But I don't care about Trackman or Mrs. Pac-Man. They had no idea that Lugo was going to be the way he's been. He's just been so outstanding. But I think it's great that you can get all these metrics and try to figure out which guy might poke his head through.
What's interesting to me is that there's been so much attention paid to Lugo and the spin rate on his curveball, and his curveball at times is phenomenal, at times it's not.
Yeah,
and he's done it with other weapons other than that curveball that has such great spin.
You know, the spin rate of a curveball is important if you can throw it for strikes consistently. And if you don't have a great spin rate, there's nothing wrong with having a variation of spin rates. So you have two different kind of curveballs. One you get over for a strike, and one you use to strike people out. That's a good one there.
Did you get the spin rate?
I didn't get it. Trackman sent it to me.
I can tell you what, guys, from a hitter's perspective, from my eye up at the plate, you always knew the great curveballs. Blyleven. I can't be contemporary here. These are the guys that I've faced. Carlton, Don Sutton. Probably Kershaw today. I'd never faced him. But from the batter's view.
Gordon lines it to left. Cespedes reaching down. He makes the shoestring catch.
Great catch by Cespedes. You can always tell the guys that have the exceptional rotation on the ball. You see it.
Cespedes right to the top of the grass. That helps your spin rate every time. Third inning in a 2-2 game as Drupal Cabrera leading off against Jose Urania. Cabrera fly to left his first time and jumps back from the fastball. 96 from Urania, 1-1. Cabrera, Cespedes, and Granderson for the Mets after James Loney tied the game with a 2-run homer in the second. And Cabrera lays off the slider. Well, since he came back from the disabled list 37 games ago, Asdrubal Cabrera has led the Mets in every possible respect, not just offensive numbers, but defensively, inspirationally. Grounds that one down to first. Bohr on the backhand. Wow. Threw it behind Urania, but he reaches back for it for the first out.
It seemed like when Cabrera came back, too, he was just refreshed and energetic, and he's just been terrific ever since.
It's Terry Collins who has the belief in today's game, maybe without the amphetamines, with all the work that they do before the game, that guys, when they get 2 or 3 days off, really come back rejuvenated.
Well, since he came back from the disabled list, he hasn't wanted any days off, and they've been offered to him. But he keeps playing through that pain in that left knee that flares up from time to time, and it doesn't seem to have affected his performance in any way. Cespedes had a base hit his first time up, off the end of the bat into center field.
That was a good pitch from Urania there, coming in, down and in on Cespedes.
Too far and in between, though, Ron. He's very erratic.
And we haven't seen any kind of really consistent breaking pitch.
1-2 coming, and that's inside. I don't know how Cespedes got out of the way of that.
He bent his body like a pretzel.
Well, as Bob Murphy used to say, he jackknifed out of the way.
Oh,
good one.
That's a good one.
Murph.
On the ground to Echeverria. And Cespedes retired, 2 out. Place a deposit on your full or partial 2017 ticket plan today. Mets season ticket plans lock you in for all the big games, including opening day and the Subway Series, and give you priority postseason access. Place your deposit on a 2017 ticket plan at Mets.com/deposits or by calling 718-507-TIXX. Here's Curtis Granderson, who walked his first time up. Ball 1 to Curtis. By the way, we were talking about the upcoming series with the Phillies on the final weekend after the Mets take tomorrow off, and the fact that the Phillies will have a bullpen game either Friday or Saturday. That's a prospect that, given what we've seen the last few weeks, has to have the Mets salivating.
Yeah, right.
Last night, the Philly bullpen inherited a 6-1 lead after a rain delay against the Braves and gave up 6 more runs.
Yes, they did.
And they lost the game. Their bullpen ERA in September is now over 8. And Pete Mackanin said after the game, can somebody at least not give up a run?
Ooh.
I mean, he's just disgusted with what his bullpen has done. That doesn't mean they won't go out and, throw shutout inning after shutout inning against the Mets this weekend, but the performance level over the last few weeks has just been terrible.
Remember when the Phillies got off to the quick start? They played well against the Mets. It was their bullpen that saved them.
Yeah, Reese and Gomez particularly. Grounded past the mound. Gordon to his right, can't come up with it cleanly, and Granderson is able to beat it out. Infield hit for Curtis Granderson.
You think?
Yep. I already said it.
Okay. Wow. I guess I'm from the old school. Red Foley, that would have been a E4. I'd have been hot.
Certainly, if he came up with it cleanly, he would have had Curtis. But Granderson will take it. So that keeps the inning alive for Bruce, who lined out to Gordon his first time up. Bruce has a home run in 4 career at bats against Urania. Who keeps it away from him for ball 1. Last night, the first time since the Mets acquired Bruce to be Cespedes' running mate that they both homered in the same game. Jay's 6th home run in 46 games as a Met, after hitting 25 home runs as a Red. And Urania behind him 2-0.
Every pitch has been away so far on Bruce.
Granderson at first, and Bruce takes it wide. Now it's 3-0. T.J. Rivera on deck. So we haven't really seen much of Jay Bruce swinging 3-0, but this would seem to be the spot for it.
Yes. Why not? And that's one to take. 3-0. You're looking for something middle in.
(3-1) coming from Urena, and it's low ball 4. So there's the second walk given up by Urena, and the Mets have 2 men on for Rivera. There's the road ahead, brought to you by your Tri-State GMC dealer. Mets with the 3 in Philly over the weekend. The Giants and Cardinals both play tomorrow. The Giants play tonight and tomorrow against Colorado. Cardinals the same against Cincinnati, and they both stay home for the final weekend. The Giants against the Dodgers and the Cardinals against the Pirates. Mets have a magic number of 4. Combination of Met wins and Cardinal losses to clinch a spot. Here's Rivera, and TJ pops it up. Gordon going back. Called off by Stanton. Side retired. Mets strand 2 in the top of the 3rd. It stays tied here in Miami. Ball week on SNY, teaming up with the New York Jets. We provided local youth football leagues with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and special Dream Day experiences. See SNY's Play Ball program in action on Geico Sports Night tonight at 10:30, only on SNY. 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Seth Lugo to face Marcell Ozuna to lead off. Ozuna walked in front of Prado's home run in the 1st inning. He swings the first pitch this time and flies one out to right center. And Granderson puts it away. 1 pitch, 1 out for Lugo in the 3rd. And now Prado, who jumped on the first pitch he saw from Lugo and hit it deep into the seats in left field for his 8th home run of the year and his 180th hit of the year.
It's really been the MO of these Marlins all series long, is that they've been very aggressive, swinging the bat, you know, just because they probably, the brains are fried.
Although if you look at their season-long number, that's really been their MO all season. Yeah. And it's surprising with Barry Bonds as their hitting coach, because Barry was so selective at the plate, but the Marlins have drawn the 2nd fewest walks of any team in the National League. But they also have struck out the 2nd fewest times. So that combination tells you they've been very aggressive.
And they have a lot of 2-strike hits. So
in fact, they have the best 2-strike batting average of any team in the National League, and Prado is the best of all. Prado lines one into center field, and he's got his second hit of the night. So there's the third Marlin hit. Prado's 2 for 2.
I was thinking when the Giants went out and got their third baseman, I thought Prado would have been a good fit for that ball club, but the Marlins were still in it.
Back when they got Eduardo Nunez, who's now hurting and struggling, so they picked up, the Giants did, Gordon Beckham from the Braves for the final 5 games of the season. You don't see that very often. Here's Christian Yelich, who grounded out his first time up.
Here's the changeup grip with the seams from Lugo, and up in the strike zone.
Throws the fastball by Yelich. I would assume, as a pitcher, and this seems like a dumb question, but I assume that there's never a situation where you try to throw a changeup up.
No, never. It's always
you're asking for a whipping if you throw a changeup up.
I mean, you throw a fastball up to try and get it out of the strike zone to tempt a hitter, but would you ever do that with a changeup? And that one trickles away from Rivera, enabling Prado to get to second base.
I think it's going to be a wild pitch. That ball was in the dirt.
Looked like the ball Rene was going to stop.
That's a wild pitch, huh?
So so think about it this way. We're talking about the TrackMan. The TrackMan's going to tell you that had great spin rate. That's a bad pitch.
It spun its way right into a wild pitch.
Also, when a pitcher throws a curveball in the dirt, he usually gets on top of it too much and overthrows it, and he's going to have a lot of spin.
That's Lugo's first wild pitch of the season. Rivera able to stop that one. 2-2 to Yelich.
Gary, there's 2 different kind of changeups you want to throw. The one is, let's say you're behind in the count, you want to throw one and it's going to be on the knees for a strike, but you're always taught if you're ahead with your changeup, you want to bounce it on the plate. That's how you're taught.
Prado at second and 1 out. And Yelich takes it up and away, full count. Giancarlo Stanton waiting on deck. Three-two coming, and that's low, ball 4. And Yelich is on with a walk, the third given up by Lugo tonight. And Stanton will come to bat with 2 men on.
You know, when I was talking about bouncing the ball on the plate, it seems like, to me, it seems like an easy thing to do. It's not, but what you think of as a pitcher is that you want to hold on to the ball just one click a little longer than you do with all your other pitches, meaning you let the ball out a little further out in front of your body, a little later, which means the ball's going to be down more.
Here's Stanton, who smashed a double to left center his first time up. Prado at second, Yelich at first with 1 out. And a knee-high strike, 1-1. Marlins 0 for 1 so far tonight with runners in scoring position against Lugo, who's allowed the opposition to hit just 163 with runners in scoring position in his brief big league career. Gets in on Stanton and he fouls it off, 1-2. Stanton arrived in the big leagues in 2010. Since his arrival, he's hit 27 home runs against the Mets, more than any player since his career began. One-two coming, and the curveball bounced foul.
Good one there.
I think Seth Lugo trying to take a chapter and verse from Eric Goodell who last night's game or was the night before threw a beautiful breaking ball on 3-2 to strike out Stanton.
I think that was Monday night. Another curve, and that just missed inside. 2-2.
Rivera wanted that call.
I think it curved around the plate. Look at him move the glove in. It missed. Good call.
Milwaukee, the home plate umpire. It was like a backup curveball.
I would think a fastball away is going to be his pitch now. Shake off though.
2 on, 1 out. 2-2 coming, and the curveball bounced foul, so he threw him 3 in a row. Gabriel Noah getting up in the Mets bullpen as Lugo labors here in the third. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Stanton. And he pops one up into shallow right in foul territory. Over goes Loney to get it, and that's the second out.
Beat him with the fastball. It wasn't in on the corner, but in enough to beat him.
I think it's the 3 breaking balls that set up that fastball. And again, Lugo, he bends but often doesn't break with these runners in scoring position.
Well, that's been his MO since he got to the big leagues. He's found himself in trouble frequently, and more often than not has worked his way through it. So now they have conversed about how they're going to deal with Justin Bour, whom they intentionally walked first time up. Bour, who's had a remarkable run against the Mets. 5 for 6 in this series. Lifetime .371 hitter against the Mets. But the first time he's faced Lugo. Prado at second, Yelich at first with 2 out. Tie game, 3rd inning. And he keeps it away from Bour. Ball 1. The greater the pressure has been, the better Lugo's been. And he gets that in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
What I've seen from Bour is that he's not all pull. You're going to just pitch him away, especially up. We saw him hit a ball off the left center field wall in the first game. He's got power that way.
They really missed him when he was out, or missed 2 months with an ankle injury, which really put a hole in the middle of the Marlins lineup, particularly when Stanton then joined him on the disabled list for a month with a groin injury.
No batting gloves.
Jim Henderson up alongside Gabriel Noah, so Harry Collins not fooling around tonight. 4 games to go in the season. He's not going to have any patience at all with Seth Lugo if he finds himself in a fix. Two and 1 to Bour, and he bounces that slider, and now it's 3-1. Well, you got Mathis on deck, same as last time. Now you intentionally walked him the first time to get to Mathis, and then Lugo struck him out. What do you throw here on 3-1?
Well, I still think you have to be careful to Bour with Mathis coming up. I mean, you never want to walk a guy or walk the bases loaded, but you don't want to try and throw a cookie to Bour.
And Bour grounds one to the right side. Rivera fields it cleanly, and Lugo finds himself out of trouble again. Nicely done by Seth Lugo. The Marlins strand 2, still tied after 3. catch a flight to 2017 spring training with Delta Airlines and Delta Dugout. Visit sny.tv/Delta Dugout for details. Fourth inning, James Loney, who tied this game with a 2-run homer, leads off against Jose Urena. Loney's home run was his 8th of the year. And a breaking ball at his feet for ball 1. And Terry Collins put out his lineup this afternoon. It had Lucas Duda in it. Duda came in, told Terry that he was a little too sore to play today. And you know, normally you'd say, what, sore? Yeah. Last week of the season, but this is a guy who missed 4 months with a broken back. So
yes,
after he spent most of last night running the bases, he was on base 4 times, drove in 3 runs. Not surprising that he was a little sore today. There's a call strike to Loney, 2-1. So Loney the beneficiary, and so are the Mets so far, with Loney having hit a 2-run bomb his first time up. That's when things are going right. But it has been a great revelation watching Duda the last few days. And what's impressive to me, maybe to Keith, maybe you feel differently, the balls he's not swinging at. Because when he's not right, when he's not seeing it well, he's swinging a lot of balls out of the strike zone. He hasn't been doing that since he's been back.
I am a bit surprised at how he's ripping the bat. And he's been out all year. Obviously, he's taken a ton of BP. But gosh, if you really look at this ball club now, I mean, Duda's hit 30 and 27 home runs back to back. You know, looking to the future, I mean, this is a team that's ahead in the National League in home runs, right? It's #1 now. They go ahead of the Cardinals.
Not yet.
Not yet. They're #2, and it's another bat, a 30 potential 30 home run hitter in the lineup.
I think what it is an unexpected gift. I don't think the Mets, when Duda went out and through the summer, had any idea he was going to be able to come back this
Correct.
season.
And it's a credit to Lucas. He's worked hard, obviously, to get himself back.
Comebacker to Urena. And he retires Loney for the first out.
Let me ask you a question, Keith, because I wouldn't know, being a pitcher. Is there any part of you as an everyday player that sees what's going on and want to get on that roster that starts in October by your play?
Well, everybody wants.
Yeah.
No one wants to be hurt. My feeling is when you miss time, whether it's the DL for 15 days, you know, you're a bit rested. You usually come back on point. You're excited to be back in. You've got your full concentration. That appears to be what Lucas has right now, and you've only got a week, not even a weekend left in the season. Boy, you just don't know what you're going to get from him. He swung the bat terrific. Impressive last night.
I'll tell you what, if the Mets get into the postseason, they've got some very interesting roster questions right? With Duda coming back, with Lagares having shown he can swing the bat last night, that was somewhat surprising. All of a sudden, they've got a lot more players than they'll have spots for when they have to go back to 25 men. 0-2 to Rene Rivera, who struck out his first time up. And here's another question: if the Mets get to the postseason, who's going to do the bulk of the catching?
Well, you know who's going to, if Syndergaard starts the wild card game, you know who's going to start that game.
And Lugo.
Yep.
Because Rivera's caught all Lugo starts. And you wonder, do you just roll him out there? There are enough off days, so that shouldn't be an issue of him being fatigued.
I think there's a comfortability factor with both Terry Collins and Dan Warthen when Rivera's behind the plate. That's just my feeling. I don't know if that's a fact.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called, so Rivera strikes out for the second time. Second strikeout for Urena tonight, and there are 2 out. And now Lugo will take his turn. Chopped one to short his first time up. And he shoots one over the bag. That's a fair ball going down the line and into the corner. Stanton can't play it cleanly, and Lugo to second base will pull in there, takes a turn, but he'll settle for a double. So Lugo's first career extra base hit, his 3rd hit, and the Mets have a 2-out base runner.
Sometimes as a pitcher you just swing, and sometimes you're so late that it works.
Not bad. Ball out over the plate. A little cut and slash.
Lugo thought about going to third after Stanton overran that ball, but with 2 out, not a good idea, so he stayed put. Now Reyes will try and get him in. Jose is 0 for 2 tonight and takes the changeup up and away for ball 1. Jose has fouled out to first and flied out to center. 4 for 13 in this series. And he watches low, 2-0. They're just about to start in St. Louis, where the Reds and Cardinals have split the first 2 games of that 4-game series. Anthony DeSclafani for the Reds tonight. Mike Leake for the Cardinals, who won last night 12-5. In fact, all 3 wild card contenders, the Mets, the Cardinals, and the Giants, they each scored 12 runs last night. But it's starting to get a little more serious.
That's right.
Three 3-0 to Reyes with Cabrera on deck. And Jose takes one on the inside corner, 3-1. And there are the wild card standings. The Mets sitting in the catbird seat, but not by much. Half a game over the Giants, even in the loss column. A game and a half over the Cardinals, 1 in the loss column.
Well, if you're a smart pitcher here, you got to go after Reyes with Cabrera on deck. Have to.
And he gets it to 3-2. Well, the Mets play tonight, while the Giants and the Cardinals play tonight and tomorrow. By the time the Mets get to Philadelphia on Friday, they'll have a little bit better idea of the task in front of them. Lugo at second and 2 out, 3-2 to Reyes, and Jose pops one foul. That'll come back out of play. Jose Urena lasted just 3 innings in his last start against the Braves. Only 2 innings in his start before that against the Phillies. But he's had the Mets number this year. 2 prior starts, went 6 innings, allowed 1 run each time.
And Reyes hits one hard, base hit. Lugo around third. He'll come in to score the go-ahead run. Reyes digging for 2. Stanton's throw to second base. Not in time. A hustle double for Reyes. He drives in the go-ahead run, and it's 3-2 New York.
Fastball ripped out over the plate, mid-thigh, nice level swing. Bullet, and with Reyes' legs, he challenges the arm of Stanton. Mets take the lead, clutch out. Jose's starting to run better here as he's gotten a little more playing shape.
Had a little scare last night when he turned his ankle coming around second base, but showing no ill effects from that. So back-to-back 2-out doubles from Lugo and Reyes put the Mets in front.
Slides that inside part of the bag. I always marveled the infielders that go that far out. Let the ball travel to you. It travels faster than your glove. Reaching for the tag.
Cabrera gulps one in the air to left center. Cutting across is Ozuna deep in the gap, and he made the catch. He had to reach back around himself for it after he overran it a little bit. But Ozuna makes a nice play to save a run. Reaching back behind his head.
Circle the wagons.
Mets grab the lead on the Reyes double. They almost had more. 3-2 New York. So what you saw there is one of our tape operators, Vince Lugo, whom the guys in the truck have been teasing about his perhaps relationship to the Mets starter. Vince makes up Cuban coffee and gives it to the guys in the truck. And you saw in the last shot our director Dan Barr, who's directing his last game of the season tonight, taking full advantage of the Cuban coffee.
Danny with a large a beaker of coffee. Keith, remember the Cuban coffee in Houston?
Yes, I do. What was the? I should
clubby.
know.
What was the clubby's name?
I should be shot in the head for this because he was such a wonderful guy. Oh, he was a wonderful man.
Jeff Mathis leads off in the home 4th inning. Seth Lugo now with the lead for the first time tonight, with or without Cuban coffee. And Mathis yanks one foul. Mathis struck out with 2 men on to end the 1st inning. Lugo has performed his magic. He gave up the 2-run homer to Prado in the 1st, but he's already gotten 3 big outs with runners in scoring position tonight, continuing what has been a trend for Seth. And now he's got the lead, facing the lower 3rd of the Marlins batting order. And Mathis takes a slider off the plate, and it's 1-1. Echeverria on deck, then the pitcher Urena. And now 1-2 to Mathis. Jeff Mathis, who was Mike Scioscia's protege in Anaheim. Played a decade for the Angels before coming over here. And he fouls back that fastball.
What was interesting is that Mike Scioscia, I remember when he first started with the Angels, he said his coaches were so tough on him as a catcher that he did not want to do that to his catchers. He said he was just the opposite. He was worse than some of the coaches that coached him.
Hit toward the hole,
Nice.
and Mathis has a base hit. So Jeff Mathis, who has been hitting well recently, continues that with a leadoff single. Sunday after the Jets Seahawks game, tune to SNY for a complete game breakdown with behind the scenes access, player reactions, and Todd Bowles post game comments on Jets Post Game Live, presented by Toyota. Sunday after the Jets Seahawks game, only on SNY.
Just to finish up with Scioscia, he had 2 catchers there. He had Mathis and Napoli, and it worked with Mathis as far as the defensive position of catcher. Didn't work as well with Napoli.
Yeah, but look at the offensive player Napoli's become over the last number of years since he left Anaheim. Might have been better off keeping him.
That's right.
Maybe play him at first base, as eventually happens. Here's a Danny Echeverria. And he swings and misses at that slider. 0-1. Echeverria flied out to right his first time up. Hansel Robles is up in the Mets bullpen, so 3rd different reliever who has begun loosening for the Mets tonight. Slowly hit. Reyes has to wait for it. Goes quickly to second. Gets the out there. No chance to double up Echeverria.
Well, once again, I mentioned the other night how quick Reyes is at getting rid of the ball. He knows he's got to hurry. Nicely done.
Well, if it wasn't Mathis running, he probably would have had a play at second, but Mathis is slow. Reyes knew it and got the out.
And that's a play that I know that he doesn't have a lot of experience there. TJ should not throw that ball because anything can happen.
So now Urena, who has 3 hits and 3 sacrifices this year, will undoubtedly be called upon to bunt. He struck out his first time up and takes the slider off the plate. Ball 1.
Loney and Reyes charging very hard on that bunt. They're putting a lot of pressure on Urena to soften the bunt. Put the pressure on those pitchers.
And he pushes the bunt, and Rene Rivera will let it go foul.
This time it goes foul for Rene.
Yeah, he had one of those earlier this year that did not. Urena was running very hard down to first base.
Once it's foul, you kids, touch it, grab it. Dead ball, foul.
Is that like a loose ball foul?
Mendy
Rudolph with the call. We're going to stay right here.
1-5, 1-1, over. 1-1. Well, folks, if you don't realize, we were kids growing up. Mendy Rudolph was one of the great dramatic NBA referees of all time.
Yes, he was.
It was like the Ron Luciano of the NBA and better.
Bunted at the plate. That's a foul ball for the second strike. Picked up in the batter's box by Rivera. Thought he had a play on Echeverria at second, so that's why he picked it up. But now Urania has to come back to the plate again with a 2-2 count. There just aren't the flamboyant officials. I think that's discouraged in all sports now.
It's become very vanilla.
Urania bunting with 2 strikes, and he bunts it in the air. It drops. Lugo has to go to first with it, and the sacrifice is successful. 1-4, moving Echeverria to second with 2 out.
A little quicker off the mound, you might have been able to catch that on the fly, which would have been a double play.
So another runner in scoring position for Lugo to contend with. He'll face G. Gordon, who lined out to left his last time up. A nice shoestring catch by Cespedes. Gordon is 0 for 2 tonight. Echeverria at second with 2 out, carrying the tying run. Mets with a 3-2 lead in the 4th. And Gordon lifts one to left center. Cespedes is there. Side retired. Lugo does it again. Strands another runner in scoring position. 3-2 Mets after 4. Mets players all time with the first or last name of Kelly. Okay, well, you know half of them because they're on the team right now. So who are the other 2?
Oh, I got one. He was a catcher.
Yes.
And he used to work in spring training on not blinking his eyes, he told me.
That's exactly true.
Okay.
I don't ride.
Yeah. He was a Rule 5 pick.
Oh, yes. I can forget the last name.
And then there's one more. Yoenis Cespedes leads off for the Mets in the 5th inning. 1 for 2 on the night. And takes a strike from Urania. Curtis Granderson, Jay Bruce to follow. 3, 4, and 5 in the Mets order. Mets were down 2-0. Loney's home run tied it in the second. Reyes' 2-out RBI double gave the Mets the lead in the fourth. And Cespedes pops one foul, and it's 0-2.
Marlins this year had a former Tiger that was called up, Don Kelly, right? Was the related
never a Met
in-law of
Neil Walker.
Neil Walker.
Right. Giants have Kelby Tomlinson.
There you go.
He doesn't count.
No. It's going to be a 62 dude.
High Pockets Kelly played for the New York Giants, but not for the New York Mets.
High Pockets.
George High Pockets Kelly. That's pulled down to third. Prado plays it off to the side and throws out Cespedes, one away. SNY's NFL insider Ralph Vacchiano has the latest from the Jets as they look to put last week's Chiefs game in the past and beat Seattle Sunday. The JetsBlog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network.
Machine Gun Kelly couldn't hit, right?
Neither could John Dillinger. Well, except when he did.
Yeah. What was it, Ma Parker or Mark Barker?
Ma Barker.
Yep. John Dillinger. What was it? The lady in the red dress, was it? Was the setup when he was?
Oh yeah.
Was it the red dress or the yellow dress? I think it was the red dress.
Curtis Granderson's been on base twice with a walk and an infield hit. And that's off the plate, 2-1. Well, all the Marlins are paying tribute to Jose Fernandez in some way or another, and Jose Urena has that hat widely decorated with tributes. We'll miss you forever. Next to the 16 and the JDF. It was quite a scene today. We showed some of it earlier. Granderson lines one and off the glove of Echeverria. He recovers in time to make a throw, but not in time. And Granderson's got another infield hit. Now that's a play Echeverria has made in even more spectacular fashion in this series, but not this time.
Well, you can't call it an infield hit, Gary. It's in the outfield.
But it was fielded by an infielder.
It was a line drive.
Either way, Granderson will take it, his second hit of the night, to go with a walk. And the Mets have a runner at first with one out for Jay Bruce, who's lined out and walked 0 for 1. Mets now have 7 hits against Urena. I'm still stuck on this last Kelly.
Yeah.
Is it an obvious one, you think? One 1-0 to Bruce with T.J. Rivera on deck. And Jay fouls back the fastball. 1-1. Reds and Cardinals have gone to the second. No score. Big cut by Bruce. 1-2. So how about the former Mets pitching prospect Michael Fulmer?
Yes.
Who needs 6 1/3 innings to qualify for the American League ERA title, making his final start of the year tonight. And he allowed a run in the first inning to the Indians. And now they have a rain delay in the third, which means maybe he won't be able to come back.
Yeah, well, they've been trying to treat him with kid gloves down the stretch anyway, so
that's a shame if that's how he doesn't get the ERA title because of a rain delay. Off the plate with a changeup, and it's 3-2 to Bruce. So now with Granderson at first and 1 out, Urena is not a strikeout pitcher. He's only struck out 2 tonight. Does Granderson get the running start here?
I think with the 2 at bats Bruce has,
yes.
I think yes, send him.
Not going, and Bruce hits it in the air to right field. Back goes Stanton, back to the warning track, back at the wall. It's out of here! Jay Bruce with another 2-run homer, his second in 2 nights. Number 32 for Jay Bruce, and the Mets have a 5-2 lead.
Boy, you cannot pitch him downstairs.
All of a sudden, Jay Bruce is turning into the powerhouse the Mets were hoping for.
What a relief he must be feeling here to be contributing. Such a difficult time he had.
Jay does have a smile because we didn't see it for a while.
His 7th home run as a Met. 3 have now come in the last 5 games.
Pitch is down.
Looks like a changeup to me.
And he's starting to wait. He is just starting to wait. Hitting the ball more up at the plate.
And that really is the true sign of a guy who hits home runs, is that on the changeup he gets from Urena, the ball's away, and he didn't get all that, and still able to hit it out of the park.
That's second 2-run homer of the night. Loney and now Bruce. And the Mets, who were down in this game 2-0, now lead at 5-2.
Nice going, Jay.
1-2 to T.J. Rivera, who's 1 for 2 tonight, a double and a fly ball. And breaking ball off the plate, 2-2.
Much more balanced. Look at the front shoulder tucked in, staying back. There you go. Let's hit the ball up at the plate. It's been so much out in front and jumping and flying open.
Grounded right at Echeverria. And he throws out Rivera 2 away.
You know, from our seat up here, Keith and I both have gone through times when you struggle, you know, and you kind of pull for guys like that to come out of it, and it's so nice to see.
We don't like to see any of our brethren, and we are a family. We're ex-major leaguers. We're all in a family here. We know what it's like to struggle, and particularly in the spotlight of New York. And it's nice to see people break out. And right on time.
Well,
could have been a little earlier.
All started with that pinch hit home run he hit in that near phenomenal comeback for the Mets on Saturday. And he has ridden that now. Big 2-run homer last night to put the Mets in front, and now another one tonight. Now has 96 runs batted in for the year. Loney hits one over the mound. Echeverria to his left gets to it, and the rest is easy to retire the side. But Bruce's home run gives the Mets a little breathing room. Number 32 for Bruce, and it's 5-2 Mets halfway through. Mets named Kelly. Well, you got Ty, you got Kelly Johnson, you got Kelly Sinnett, and Kelly Shopik. That's right. He was here so briefly a few years ago.
Don't know him. Can you give me a little lowdown on him?
Yeah, he played for the Red Sox and the Indians. This is in the last 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. He was only here for a few weeks. Here's Marcelo Zuna, who takes a breaking ball for a strike. 2012, we're told.
2012. That's pretty poor that I don't remember that.
He was a big prospect, if I recall, with the Red Sox, second-round pick. Let's see. He was with the Mets for 28 games, 79 at bats in 2012.
Heinstopper? The catcher?
Yes, catcher. Marcelo Zuna has walked and flied out 0 for 1. And he gets one in the air to left field. Cespedes drifting. Has room. 1 out. So Seth Lugo keeps plowing along. He gave up a 2-run homer to this guy, Martin Prado, in the first inning. And he's worked around plenty of traffic since. And now the Mets have gotten him 5 runs to work with. He's an amazing success story.
Oh, it's good. It's fantastic.
I mean, just the way he's doing it, right? He's not blowing people away. He's not running up big strikeout totals. He's given up a lot of hard hit balls. But when the money's on the table, he gets the job done.
Hey, I like pitchers that pitch to contact. They move the game along.
Popped up into shallow center. Rivera out, and TJ stays with it. He did not have that ball lined up the entire way, but figured it out and made the play for the second out.
Well, Curtis Granderson broke back on the ball, thought it was hit better. So TJ makes the play.
Would you say 3 circles and a dot?
Yeah, that's what it is. 3 circles and a dive right there.
So quickly 2 out and nobody on. Now Christian Yelich, who's grounded out and walked 0 for 1. And he grounds one right at Rivera. And a 7-pitch inning for Seth Lugo after the Mets extend the lead. After 5-2 New York. Well, today was another very important day in the grieving process for the Miami Marlins and their fans. And their owner, Jeffrey Loria, who was so close to the Fernandez family, did so much hard work to get Jose Fernandez's grandmother here from Cuba after they've been apart for half a dozen years. And this was this afternoon when they rode the funeral procession through the edge of Marlins Park with Jeffrey Loria out in front of his team, keeping their hands on the hearse that contained the casket with Jose Fernandez. There was one incredibly touching moment during that this afternoon when the motorcade stopped and Jose's mother Maritza got out and clearly was just distraught. And Jeffrey Loria enveloped her in an enormous hug that just broke your heart.
I was in my room bawling.
Rene Rivera is 0 for 2 tonight, struck out twice. New pitcher Nefi Ogando in the game for the Marlins.
Ogando was with the Philadelphia Phillies organization, has come over here, got a couple outs in this series already.
Threw just one pitch last night and got a double play ball in the 5th inning. And gets the breaking ball into Rivera. And there's the first out on the top of the 6th. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
Gary, one thing about being down here in Miami during these 3 days is just everybody you talk to, you hear so many wonderful stories about who Jose Fernandez was off of the field. And one of them I want to pass along. It was just so poignant and touching. He was very involved with the charity Live Like Bella, which helped fight childhood cancer. Bella was a young girl who tragically passed away from cancer at just the age of 10. And a few years ago, the Marlins had her older sister and her parents out here at a game shortly after Bella had passed away, and Jose Fernandez met them and was touched by the story. And he actually said to her older sister, "You're throwing out the first pitch tonight." And the people with the Marlins said, "Hold on, Jose, you can't do that. We have someone who's already throwing out the first pitch." He said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it," and went to Jeffrey Loria and told him this girl was throwing out the first pitch, and she did. And Jose Fernandez took such a big role in the charity. He was on the board of directors, and just recently, on September 10th, they had a big ball, Bella's ball, and the Marlins were playing a game against the Dodgers. Even still, at 11 o'clock at night, after the game was over, Jose Fernandez showered up, got in a suit, and went and attended that ball, something that I think very few people would actually do, given how big Jose Fernandez was. So those are just the types of things you are hearing about who Jose Fernandez was.
Well, I think the more you stick around this community, the more you understand how the aura of Jose Fernandez will be around this city and this ball club forever.
You know, I don't know if I've ever seen a pitcher with like Fernandez, who didn't have a ton of experience, have more pictures and shots of him with dignitaries and youngsters and charity. And
Reyes shoots one down to Prado, and that retires the side.
Just amazing.
He was a seemingly transcendent figure, gone far too early. First pitch swinging. Giancarlo Stanton bounces one out to Asdrubal Cabrera, and Seth Lugo quickly has the first out in the 6th. So as aggressive as they were earlier in the series, the Marlins are only getting more aggressive now behind in this game.
Last 8 pitches, he's gotten 4 outs, says Seth Lugo.
One out and nobody on that. Justin Bour. Well, the Mets have had the bullpen cranking since the 3rd inning, but Lugo has not required any assistance. Also Robles, Jerry Blevins up here in the 6th just in case. Justin Bour is 0 for 1. He's drawn an intentional walk and then grounded out with 2 men on to end the 3rd. Might have been as important an out as Lugo's gotten today.
3-2 changeup, or 3-1 changeup maybe.
And the curveball in for a strike. 1-1. Lugo gave up a 2-run homer to the 3rd batter he faced tonight, Martin Prado, but he's held the Marlins in check since. Despite a number of base runners, he had runners in scoring position against him later in that 1st inning, again in the 3rd and in the 4th, and was able to work out of it every time. Now he's retired 7 in a row. And Bour grounds one down to first. That's a foul ball.
Oh, good run.
That was very close to being a fair ball.
Yeah.
Too. 26-year-old Seth Lugo continuing to write a phenomenal underdog story. I mean, for a team in the final week of an all-out pennant race, they've got a 34th round draft pick on the mound and an undrafted free agent playing second base. What are the odds?
Right. And remember,
that's lined the other way, and Bour's got a base hit.
Boy, I just like what I see from Bour. Remember, when a left-hander's pitching, they had not only Rivera out there, but Eric Campbell was in the starting lineup. Nice hitting by Bour.
Bour is now 6 for 8 in this series with that base hit. So 1-out base runner for Jeff Mathis, who struck out with 2 men on to end the 1st and then singled to right in the 4th. Terry Collins is on his way out to the mound, and he's going to make a pitching change. So after Lugo gives up a 1-out hit to Bour, and with the light hitting Mathis coming up, Hansel Robles is coming into this game. So Terry with the quick hook for Lugo here in the 6th. But what a job by the rookie right-hander. Wow. In his 8th major league start, he puts up another terrific effort tonight. Allows 2 runs over 5 1/3 and takes his exit after 82 pitches. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. That's up 5-2 in the 6th. We'll be right back. Otto Robles will make his first appearance in this series.
Well, interesting move here. You wouldn't think of Robles as a guy that would get a ground ball. He's more of a strikeout kind of pitcher. But Lugo after 82, done.
I know you wouldn't want to come out of that game, Ronnie.
Ooh. But you know, Terry Collins being very careful.
Last time we saw Robles was Friday night against the Phillies, and he was fantastic. 2 2/3 scoreless innings to get his first major league save. Remember, that was after the Mets had played that 9-8-11 inning game the night before and used 10 pitchers, so they were short and had to go to the bullpen early in that game. So Robles basically saved the day by getting the final 8 outs in that game. Here he falls behind Mathis 2-0. Echeverria on deck. That's with a 5-2 lead in the 6th. Bohr at first and 1 out. And it's in the dirt. Is that a 2-0 changeup to Jeff Mathis?
Yes, it was.
And why would you call that pitch if you're Rene Rivera?
Maybe it was. Why would you shake off?
Why would you call him if you're Art Fern?
It's like the whole Fern family. Here's a strike, 3-1. Meanwhile, there's good news from St. Louis, where Adam Duvall's 2-run single in the top of the 3rd has put the Reds in front of the Cardinals 2-0.
Duvall's having a nice series, isn't he?
He sure is. Had 2 home runs the other night. He's had a great season. 3-1 coming, and Mathis hits it out to right field over toward the corner. Bruce, a long run, can't get to it. It's a foul ball. So that fills the count to Mathis after Robles fell behind him 3-0. You got Echeverria on deck, the pitcher spot behind him, so that might be Ichiro Suzuki lying in wait. Jerry Blevins stays busy in the Mets bullpen for that eventuality. Bohr at first and 1 out. 3-2 coming to Mathis, and he fouls back the fastball. So Robles has had 4 full days of rest since his last outing. Last night, Addison Reed and Jerry's Familia both pitched after they had had 4 full days of rest, and neither did a lot of heavy lifting, so both available tonight. Haven't very many games the Mets have been fully stocked in the bullpen lately, but they are for this one. And an off day tomorrow. Mathis goes down swinging. So Robles came back from 3-0 to strike out Mathis for the 2nd out.
Just really threw it right by him. Fastball upstairs.
So now 2 out. Bohr still at first, and here's Echeverria, who's 0 for 2, flied out and hit into a fielder's choice. And it's foul back. And it's Derek Dietrich who comes out on deck to be a pinch hitter for the Marlins if Echeverria can keep the inning going. Echeverria 0 for 5 in his career against Robles. And he jams in. It's rolled out to shortstop. Cabrera makes the flip, and Robles gets the 2 outs to finish off the bottom of the 6th. Off to the 7th we go, 5-2 New York. Mets will have 2, 3, and 4 in the order coming up against Navy Ogando. Worked a 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. As Dribble Cabrera 0 for 3 tonight. Marcelo Zuna made a fine play going back to reel in his long fly ball last time up. Cespedes and Granderson to follow. And Cabrera gets tied up, but it misses ball 1.
Marlins used 9 pitchers on the first night, 8 pitchers last night. Ogando's been effective so far.
Might be able to hold it down to 5 or 6 tonight. We'll say Urania went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs. And now Ogando falls behind Cabrera 2-0. And now 3-0. They've gone to the 4th inning in St. Louis. Cincinnati 2, the Cardinals nothing. Mets magic number is 4. Any combination of Mets wins and Cardinals losses totaling 4 gets the Mets a wild card spot. Home field, that's a whole other story. And here's a strike 3-1. I mean, the question was raised today about if the Mets go into Sunday knowing that they had a wild card but had to win to get home field, would Noah Syndergaard pitch? That's grounded to the right side, and Gordon gets in front of it.
And what did Terry say?
Cabrera not really running very well. Looks like he might have tweaked that knee on that swing. Well, Terry was non-committal, but here's the thing: in a different universe where, let's watch Cabrera here.
Yep. I might be inclined later in this ball game maybe to get some defense in there for him.
Every once in a while that knee just acts up with that patellar tendonitis.
Like it gives way.
1 out for Cespedes. And he hits one off the end of the bat, and Gordon with another play to make. 2 out. Today's start is brought to you by People's United Bank. Seth Lugo, another terrific start. His ERA for the season is now at 2.67. I was going to say, in another universe where you had a healthy Matt Harvey, a healthy Jacob deGrom, Zach Wheeler had come back from Tommy John surgery, and everything was right with the world as far as the Mets rotation, you'd say, of course, let Syndergaard pitch for home field, and then we got one of those other guys to go on Wednesday.
Yes.
But in a rotation where you've basically got one ace, doesn't really matter where you play the game. He's got to pitch Wednesday against whomever, wherever.
On full rest.
Right.
Or more rest.
There's Granderson has been on base 3. I mean, is there any question about that?
None for me.
I mean, I know it would be great for the Mets to have the home game, and Terry Collins was singing the praises of the Mets fans today and how much energy they bring the team. But given the choice of Syndergaard pitching that wild card game, one and done, or anybody else, has to be Noah. That's pulled down the right field line by Granderson, and he's got another base hit. Stanton cuts it off, and he'll hold Granderson to a single. But Granderson is on base for the 4th straight time, 3 for 3 and a walk.
Everybody's starting to click here offensively. The veterans. Little toe tap from Curtis. It's like Spider-Man up there. Rips it down the line.
Don Mattingly is on his way to the mound. He's got a left-hander ready in the bullpen. So after he allowed Ogando to face one left-hand hitter, Granderson, he'll pull him out with Bruce coming up. And he'll bring in Hunter Cervenka. 5-2 Mets in the 7th. We'll be right back. Lefty Hunter Cervenka's pitched in all 3 games in this series.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding year. Atlanta and then here with the Marlins. Look at that opponent's average, 204 against the lefty all season long.
He's gotten Jay Bruce out twice in this series. He comes in to face him again and misses badly with a slider to start him off. Jay hit a 2-run homer his last time up. His second in 2 nights. He's also lined out and walked tonight, 1 for 2. Curtis Granderson at first has now reached base 7 straight times going back to yesterday's game. A walk and a single and a double his last 3 trips last night. A walk and 3 singles tonight. 2-0 now to Bruce. Jay flied out against Cervenka on Monday night, grounded out against him last night. And now Cervenka behind him, 3-0.
That's another sign, huh, Keith? Not swinging at pitches off the strike zone, a better eye, more patience.
Nick Whitgren staying busy in the Marlins bullpen. And there's ball 4, so Cervenka comes in and walks Bruce on 4 pitches. And we'll see if Don Mattingly makes another move here with the right-hand hitter coming up. Apparently not. So we'll leave Cervenka in to face T.J. Rivera, who's 1 for 3 tonight, doubled back in the second inning.
It's got to be because Loney's on deck, right?
Well, that's the thing about this time of year. You got so many pitchers out there. You can go batter for batter if you want.
Well, they
have Salas up in the Mets bullpen.
They have gone batter for batter.
Right. So now Granderson at second, Bruce at first with 2 out. Mets trying to add to a 5-2 lead. TJ 1 for 3 tonight. And takes outside, ball 1. That's 5 in a row out of the strike zone from Cervenka. Well, the other thing is, in his brief big league career, T.J. Rivera has not been particularly effective against left-hand pitching. Juan Nieves out to talk to his pitcher.
It's just been a slice of what Rivera has to offer, and he's done a fine job here. He's in a good hitter's count. You got a reliever that's come in here and thrown 5 straight balls.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers, who are proud to support the Mets on their drive to the wild card. By Time Warner Cable, enjoy all the things you love better with Time Warner Cable. Call 1-855-WANT-TWC today. And by New York Community Bank and the NYCB family of banks. One 1-0 to Rivera. And now 2-0. So 6 pitches, 6 balls thrown by Hunter Cervenka, working a 3rd straight day.
It's been a nice time for a 2-base hit by Rivera.
TJ hitting .339 overall, but just .250 against lefties. And there's finally a strike from Cervenka.
It's how many times you see it. It's the big leagues, is that when pitcher can't get a fastball over and catcher calls a breaking ball and he gets it over.
That's right. Try something different.
And he fouls that one off his leg. And it's 2-2. Well, Michael Fulmer is not going to get his 6 1/3 tonight. They just took him out in the 4th inning. So while Michael Fulmer might have the best ERA among American League starters, it looks like he won't get the ERA title. Detroit's up 3-2 in the 4th in that game. 2-2 to Rivera, and the breaking ball hit in the air to right. Stanton back onto the edge of the track, and he pulls it in to retire the side. Mets strand 2 in the top of the 7th. Stretch time 5-2 New York. Go to the bottom of the 7th. Juan Lagares in to play center. Curtis Granderson moves to right. And Fernando Salas is on to pitch the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, the 7th inning man. He pitched yesterday, the 7th inning. Perfect inning with a strikeout.
And the pinch hitter for the Marlins will be Ichiro Suzuki, who's pinch hit in both games of this series, at a base hit on Monday night. And then flied out last night. A nice play by Cespedes going toward the line. And Ichiro takes the pitch high from Salas, ball 1. We are told that the Mets changes are straight up, so Lagares goes in Bruce's spot, which puts the pitcher still in the 9-hole and due up third in the next inning, which makes sense because Salas is only going to pitch 1 inning anyway.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Addison Reed on call for the 8th, assuming all goes well here in the 7th. Lagares did show he could swing the bat last night, though. Had a pretty well hit sacrifice fly to get a run in. It was a nice thing to see.
Deep too, to right field.
It certainly will cause one more conversation if and when the Mets are putting together a postseason roster, because you'd love to have his defense and speed with you when you get to October. Ichiro pops one foul back and out of play. D. Gordon on deck, then Marcelo Zuna against Salas in the 7th. Salas worked a 1-2-3 inning yesterday. Pitching for the 3rd time in the last 4 days. And that's popped up into shallow left. In comes Cespedes. 1 out.
Salas is another guy who doesn't have overpowering stuff, but he throws strikes. Goes after the hitters.
Now D. Gordon, who's 0 for 3 tonight. They've gone to the 5th inning in St. Louis. Still the Reds 2 and the Cardinals nothing. Anthony DeSclafani working on that one for the Reds. He's been their best all year.
Mike Leake for the Cardinals.
He's been their best hitting pitcher outside of Wainwright. I mean, it's not often that Mike Leake is not the best hitting pitcher on his own team.
Wainwright is having quite a year. Maybe not the pitching kind of year he'd like, but
does the 18 RBIs make up for the 4.5 ERA?
He'd rather have a 2.5.
Off-speed pitch, a ball and a strike to Gordon. Mets bullpen has gotten plenty of work in September. Coming into the night, the Mets bullpen had worked 100 2/3 innings, which is the most in any month for the Mets since August of 2009. That's hit sharply up the middle, and Gordon's got a base hit. First time D. Gordon's been aboard tonight, his 6th hit in this series.
Game just a little too close for comfort, right, guys?
Too much plate and up.
Now Marcell Ozuna, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Ozuna facing Salas for the first time, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Addison Reed, Jerry Blevins getting ready. You got Yelich 2 batters away. That's Blevins' assignment. And if things get dicey, then Reed will get the call early. City probables for the weekend, the final weekend of the regular season. Maybe Gazelman, Cologne in the opposite order. That's still to be determined. Syndergaard if needed on Sunday. All we know about the Phillies, Jared Eichhoff goes Sunday. Alec Asher will probably pitch one of the other 2 games. And what Pete Buchanan is calling a bullpen day, either Friday or Saturday. So everything up in the air right now as far as who goes where. It's kind of like in the postseason. You take it day by day. 31-year-old Fernando Salas, his 15th game for the Mets. And good pitch to Ozuna. The place he could hit that was foul, and it's 1-2.
Salas just pours that fastball.
He does.
He was struggling with the Angels this year at a 4.47 ERA. He was walking more hitters. Hasn't issued a single walk since he's been with the Mets. Some home run issues in Anaheim as well, but he's been solid since he got here.
And the Mets bullpen has been rock solid too. It's held the Marlins scoreless in this series, but started in Philadelphia against Philadelphia.
Well, Salas was the piece that the Mets were missing, that 7th inning guy. They looked for it all year. At one point it looked like Robles was going to be that guy. Earlier in the year, Jim Henderson.
Yeah.
But there was nobody to fill that on a regular basis until Salas got here, much as was the case last year when the Mets acquired Addison Reed in August after they had gotten Tyler Clippard to pitch the 8th. They got Reed to pitch the 7th, and that made the bullpen that much more solid. Same has happened here with Reed in the 8th and Salas in the 7th. Gordon runs, it's fouled back, so with his team 3 runs down, D. Gordon trying to steal a base, but Ozuna fouled it off. Try and steal a base with your team 3 runs down, you better make it.
Well, you know, when you're a true base stealer, it's not a bad play. But you're right. He's got to be safe.
1-2 coming. Fouled off. When I see that happen, I always go back to that wild card game between the A's and the Royals a couple of years ago when the Royals were down by 4 runs in the 8th inning and they started running wild against John Lester. And it changed the entire tone of that game, even though in terms of standard operating procedure, it was very unusual.
Well, what it was is that the Royals kind of said to the baseball community out there, this is how we win games. So we're not going to shut it down because we're down a few runs. That's just not how we play. And it also helped to have like Terrence Gore on the roster.
Draw Dyson.
Yeah.
1-2. Gordon runs, pitch outside. Rivera's throw into the runner. It hits Gordon, rolls into shallow left center, and Gordon will wind up on third. '29th steal of the year for Gordon, and he takes third on a throwing error charged to Rene Rivera.
Rivera had a chance to throw him out. One of the.
I think he had it stolen, Ron.
Yeah.
Let's see. It would have had to have been a perfect throw.
Yeah.
That ball sailed into the line, into the runner.
So a runner at third with one out. The infield back with a 3-run lead, and Ozuna takes it inside, and now it's 2-2. 3-2, excuse me. Well, this is a huge batter for Salas. If Ozuna gets on, Prado comes up as the tying run, and he got him. Went to the off-speed pitch and strikes out Ozuna for the second out.
What was that pitch? A changeup?
Something squirrely. Let's see.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Turned it over.
3-2 changeup.
So a big second out for Salas. And now Prado will bat with 2 out and Gordon at third. Prado accounted for the Marlins' runs with a 2-run homer in the first inning. Then he singled in the third, 2 for 3 on the night. And 2 for 5 in his career against Fernando Salas. And a slider off the plate for ball 1.
Just such a gutsy pitch to be able to throw.
Turned it over too. Got a little sink on it, Ronnie.
Ozuna was just geared for that fastball in. Never got it.
And Prado watches low. 2-0. Well, if Prado gets on, we'll almost certainly see Jerry Blevins to pitch to Christian Yelich, who would be next. Blevins all warmed up and ready to go. And Prado takes a fastball for a strike, 2-1. Seth Lugo went 5 1/3, allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a wild pitch, and a home run. Hansel Robles got his 2 batters. And now Salas trying to work around D. Gordon standing at third with 2 out.
This is a field where he can afford to throw it away and let him hit it to center field.
Change up.
And he got it on the corner for a strike, 2-2. Two from Salas. Prado lines one foul.
Fastball up.
On the ground weakly. Loney's got it. Hits Salas. Side retired. Fernando Salas with a scoreless bottom of the 7th. That sends us off to the 8th with the Mets up 5-2. 5-2 lead, and hard-throwing Brian Ellington will come on to pitch amidst the sea life at Marlins Park.
Well, Ellington spent most of the year in AAA. See, this is only his 30th game. Left-handed hitters have worn him out.
He worked in the opening game of the series, gave up a 2-run double to Asdrubal Cabrera on Monday night. James Loney leads off in the 8th inning for New York. Loney got the Mets started tonight. Mets were down 2-0 when they came to bat in the 2nd. And with a runner on and nobody out, Loney parked one over the right field wall for his 8th home run that tied up the game. Mets took the lead in the 4th, and they've led ever since. And he hits one down the left field line, slicing toward the corner. That's a foul ball. It just missed the chalk.
Oh, there he is.
Eric Langell defying limits again.
By a foot. Good shot. Langell's phone must have blown up last night. He's coming from more today.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect positioning there, by the way.
Just really very narcissistic, looking for some airtime. Oh, he's got help over there now. He's got another. Someone's joined him.
Loney hits this one out to left field, and Ozuna's got it lined up. One away.
Giarris.
And Billy the Marlin. So you got the bullpen catcher, the closer, and the mascot, all defying limits. Might be an endorsement contract in the works. Here's Rene Rivera, who's been up 3 times, struck out all 3, trying to avoid the first golden sombrero of his career. Here's a G-Mets box score. 2-run homers by Loney and Bruce. 3 hits for Granderson. The go-ahead RBI for Reyes. Mets have scored 64 runs in their last 7 games. And slider in for a strike. Kelly Johnson's come out on deck to pinch hit for the Mets, with Addison Reed getting ready for the bottom of the 8th.
I was talking about the Mets bullpen, how good it's been in this series. The Marlins bullpen has given up 18 hits and 11 runs in this series.
And we're going to Philly.
Well, tomorrow's a day off for the Mets, and then they regroup for their final series of the regular season. Jeep Friday Night Baseball, Mets and Phillies, Citizens Bank Park. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock Friday night right here on SNY.
Are you going to Philly tonight, Gary?
I am going to Philly tonight.
Well, you get in at 2:30 in the morning.
That's why they invented days off, Keith. Poke to shortstop. And Echeverria throws out Rivera, 2 out. And what are your travel plans, Keith?
I'm going up, taking a car service up to my condo in Juno Beach and spend the off day in Juno, and I'm flying up early in the morning on Friday to Philadelphia.
What are you going to do on your off day?
I'm going to lounge.
Now, if you have to get up very early Friday, I hope you'll be well rested for a very important game Friday.
Oh, I'll be rested. Don't worry. Don't worry about Keith.
You know, there's no players' coffee anymore. Here's Kelly Johnson with 2 out. And he takes a strike.
That's one thing you've always done, my man. You've always been ready for the big games.
Well,
always.
as I've gotten older, I can't. It's tough when you get into these towns, and they're going to land at 2:30, folks. This team tonight. They got an off day, but you don't get to the hotel to 3:30, 3:45. Be bed around 4. That's not for me.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Ronnie?
I'm going to fly back to New York tomorrow, and I've got to do some packing because I'm going on the road for 3 weeks, and I have not done it yet. So
Friday will be your last game with us this season.
Yes.
We'll miss you.
Well, I said I'd do Saturdays, but Fox just ripped it right from under us.
Ripped the heart out.
That's right.
Right from all of us.
I do have to say that the hardest part, because I did it as a young man, is that I have no interest in traveling with the team anywhere. Those days are done for me.
Check swing, and Kelly stopped it in time. 3-1.
A little boo from the crowd. They haven't had much to cheer about tonight. Or boo about.
2 out and nobody on. 3-1 to the pinch hitter Johnson. And Kelly takes it wide for ball 4. So the Mets have a 2-out base runner. Cardinals got a run in the bottom of the 5th. Cut the Reds lead in half, 2-1 as they go to the 6th. Here's Reyes, who drove in the go-ahead run with a double in the 4th inning. Back-to-back 2-out doubles by Lugo, and Reyes produced the go-ahead run. Johnson at first and 2 out, and Reyes goes after the slider. 0-1.
Gosh, if Ellington can throw a consistent slider like that with his sinker, he's got a bright future, but he's just, how many pitchers have we seen with this stuff, and they can never quite get control of it.
Another slider, another strike, 0-2.
It's a good one.
2 in a row. Down and in.
Oh, 2 to Reyes. Johnson thought about advancing on that ball in the dirt, but Mathis stopped it quickly and disavowed him of any notion. One-two coming from Ellington. First a throw over, and Johnson only a step off the bag. Now the 1-2, and Reyes foul tips it. Strike 3. Inning over. That sends us to the bottom of the 8th. Addison Reed coming on. 5-2 New York. We go to the last of the 8th inning in Miami. The Mets with a 5-2 lead, trying to take the rubber game of this series. Addison Reed on to protect a 3-run lead.
Well, it's working exactly like you'd want it for the Mets and Terry Collins. You had a nice effort by Lugo. You had Robles finish up that 6th inning. Salas got through the 7th, and now Reed for the 8th.
Yelich, Stanton, and Bohr up for the Marlins in the bottom of the 8th. It's the last home game of the year for Miami. And a home season for the Marlins that ends in such sorrow because of what has occurred off the field. I think that exhortation is going to be around for a long time. You said it last night, Ronnie, when they gather in Jupiter next spring, it may hit home even more so.
Yeah.
Ball and 2 strikes to Yelich. Right now, they're just trying to play their way through the rest of this season. They'll have 3 games in Washington, but first tomorrow they'll be attending their brother's funeral, and you can only imagine how more that's going to rev up the emotions that have been so difficult to deal with since the news on Sunday.
And then they got to get on a plane and go to Washington and play 3 more games, although some of their stars might get some rest in that series.
2-2 to Yelich with Stanton on deck, and tied him up but missed low and in. Full count. Reed pitched last night. He gave up a leadoff hit and then got a double play. He threw only 11 pitches to 3 batters after getting 4 days of rest at a time when he really needed it. 3-2 coming, and Yelich scoots one just foul.
Swift move by Mr. Hirsch. Is that John Hirschback?
It's DJ Rayburn.
Boy, they've been shifting these umpires around a little crazy.
I think, and I don't know this for certain, but I think they altered their rotation for the first game of the series so John Hirschbeck could have the plate.
I agree.
That's drilled into right field, a base hit for Yelich, and the Marlins get the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, this young man is a rising star. Good wrists and beautiful swing. He's going to get stronger as he gets older. Still early 20s. He has got a bright future. A Gold Glove under his belt already.
So now Giancarlo Stanton, who's 1 for 3 tonight, doubled back in the 1st inning. And the slider off the plate from Reed for ball 1.
So one thing we've seen from Reed, and I wonder if it's because he's getting tired, is that pitching a little behind in the count now the last 2 or 3 outings.
Guy who, as we noted last week, has pitched ahead in the count more of the time than anybody else who's taken them out in the majors this year. One and 1 to Stanton. And a fastball in for a strike. 1-2.
Stanton has taken a lot of pitches. Strike 1, strike 2. It makes me think he's guessing.
1-2. Got him looking.
Yep. Got to be guessing, Ron.
Took 3 fastballs, and Stanton is struck out for the first out.
It's got to be looking for a slider there, and did not get it.
I mean, that's middle.
I think that's one of those at bats where you kind of see the emotional toll.
It's fried. The brains are fried.
One out and 1 on. Here's Justin Bohr, 1 for 2 and a walk tonight, and he takes a fastball strike. Or had a base hit to left center that ends Seth Lugo's night in the 6th inning. 6 for 8 in this series.
Boy, Reed has just had a phenomenal season, has he not? Let's just give him some credit. He has just been money in the bank in that 8th inning role and handing off to Familia. Just tremendous season.
That's driven toward left center field, cutting across Cespedes. He'll get there, and that's the 2nd out.
That was interesting because of the way the Boers hit this series. They kind of bunched Lagares and Cespedes in left center there, so that made that an easier play.
Another ball hit hard by Boer. He's been doing that the entire series, but now there are 2 out. And Jeff Mathis is not going to bat. It's going to be JT Realmuto. So Realmuto getting the night off tonight after starting the first 2 games of the series, went 1 for 7, but the better hitter among the Marlins catchers. So he'll be the pinch hitter here. And takes the pitch low for ball 1. Realmuto having a fine season in his sophomore year in the big leagues. Hitting .306. And Reed throws the fastball by him, and it's 1-1. David Phelps on the left, Dustin McGowan on the right, both loosening for the Marlins. Doing 1 to Realmuto. The Mets 5 runs, 9 hits. The Marlins 2 runs and 7 hits. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Fouled away. 2-2. Pitchers and grips and arm angles.
Pressure. Usually they're holding a ball and manipulating it all during the game. Here he's helping Ellington.
Breaking ball got him. Addison Reed with 2 strikeouts in the inning. Works around a leadoff hit by Yelich. We go to the 9th, 5-2 New York.
Nice going, Duke.
And coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night after the post game, we'll have all the highlights from the wild card competitors. And there'll be basketball news as well. Geico Sports Night tonight after the post game on SNY. JT Realmuto stays in the game to catch as we go to the 9th inning, and Dustin McGowan will work for the 3rd straight day.
Well, he's been his best here at Marlins Park in 28 games. His ERA is 1.77 for McGowan.
As Dribble Cabrera 0 for 4 tonight, a rare 0 for him. Yoenis Cespedes and Curtis Granderson to follow. Jeurys Familia getting ready in the Mets bullpen. If the Mets don't score, then Familia will get a crack at his 50th save of the season, a pinnacle that only 12 pitchers in history have ever reached. Cabrera pops one foul, and that goes out of play. Well, as Dribble Cabrera established himself early in his career with the Indians as an offensive force to be reckoned with. Two-time All-Star, 25 home runs in 2011 with the Indians.
He can hit. There's no doubt about it. He's impressed me this season. You know, you really can't judge a player until you see him day in, day out.
Well, yeah. What's interesting about that, what you just said, Keith, is sometimes you watch a guy day in and day out, he's less attractive, and then other players like Cabrera, you say to yourself, boy, he's special.
Cespedes on deck. Cabrera hits one out to left, chasing Ozuna back to the warning track. He runs it down. Second time tonight that Ozuna's had to go back for a drive off the bat of Cabrera.
Do you like that move that they've made, Keith, having Ozuna in left and Yelich in center field?
I don't.
No,
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't like it.
Because?
I think Yelich is a left fielder. I don't think he can cover the ground in center field. I think Ozuna's faster. And maybe I'm wrong. But I like it the way it was.
Here's Cespedes, 1 for 4 tonight. Grounded out his last 3 at bats. Well, Don Mattingly has limited his pitcher usage to 5 tonight. After 9 and 8 pitchers the first 2 games of the series. Tonight he got 5 innings out of his starter Jose Urena. Ogando, Cervenka, Ellington, and now McGowan.
Mets have left 8 men on base tonight, and the Marlins have left the same. But the Mets have got 5 runs on the board.
The magic of the home run ball.
Yep.
That's with 2 home runs tonight. Now 216 for the season as they continue to expand on their club record.
Jay Bruce with another home run. For if anybody's joining us late, down the right field line, a 2-run shot in the 5th inning. His 7th as a Met. He's starting to turn it around.
3-0 to Cespedes. And he walked him. So Yoenis is on with the 5th walk given up by Marlins pitchers tonight. And now Curtis Granderson, who's now reached base 7 straight times, will try and keep that string going.
10 times he's reached base in this 3-game series.
Last night his final 3 at bats, a walk, a 2-run single, and a run-scoring double. Tonight a walk, 2 infield hits, and then a solid single to right his last time up.
This guy's batting average up to 231.
Well, last year Curtis hit over 250 and his on-base percentage was over 360, and it's lagged this year. But this late season run is getting it back into much more respectable territory, along with the 30 home runs and this recent string of RBIs.
Yeah, his on-base percentage at present is 330 for the year. And I know that, folks, because I'm reading the scoreboard.
Oh,
I'm cheating. It's an old trick by an old announcer, we know.
Yeah, but you admitted it. That's the difference. Inside, 2-1 to Granderson.
You're lucky Webby's not here. He'd be all over you.
Well, every number you want is on most scoreboards now.
It's right there for you.
2-1 to Granderson. Juan Lagares on deck. Grounded toward the hole, base hit, and Granderson's on base again. His 4th hit of the night. So Granderson's reached base safely 8 plate appearances in a row. He's got a 4-for-4 game tonight.
4 singles. I love that hold right there. First baseman's got to hold that runner on. It's like the Cumberland Gap.
And the Marlins are one of the few teams that don't play a over shift with their second baseman against Granderson.
Often that's an out.
Yeah.
Granderson hits it there. So here's Lagares, who swung the bat for the first time last night since returning from his thumb surgery, and he had a sacrifice fly. And he takes a fastball for a strike. It was a little surprising. We didn't know for sure if he was ready to swing a bat in the game, but he did, and did it successfully. Mets now have 10 hits on the night. Lagares took over for defense in the 7th inning. Jay Bruce's spot in the lineup.
It's a healthy cut.
The thumb is still heavily taped following surgery. He played with it for what, 3-4 weeks before he finally shut it down.
Well, yeah, I had the same operation that he had. It's remarkable that he's back and swinging the bat.
Breaking ball hit to short. Echeverria gets the force. Gordon the turn, not in time. Lagares beats the rap at first to keep the inning going.
Poor Curtis, he could never even get to second base. He had to get down quickly.
So that'll get T.J. Rivera to the plate with 1st and 3rd and 2 out. T.J. had a double his first time up tonight. A scorcher right over the third base bag. 1 for 4 on the night. Cespedes at third. Lagares at first with 2 out.
1 for 4. Scored a run ahead of the James Loney home run.
And Rivera takes a slider for a strike. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, the Marlins will have 8, 9, and 1 in the order. Echeverria, then probably Derek Dietrich to pinch hit, and then D. Gordon. And Rivera goes after another breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
McAllen's got a good arm, good breaking ball. Injuries have been his issue in his career.
Came up with Toronto as a starting pitcher. Oh-2 coming to Rivera. And he watches that one in the dirt as Realmuto knocks it down. In the American League wild card race, they've gone to the 9th in Toronto. Blue Jays 2, Orioles 1. If the Orioles lose that game, it opens it up for Detroit to tie them for the second wild card, and the Tigers are up 6-3 with another rain delay in the 5th inning in Detroit. So that is now an official game. Seattle put pressure on by winning this afternoon. If they win, if Baltimore loses, Seattle will be just 1 game behind. 1-2 coming. That's off the corner. 2-2. So you have no idea where you're going next week, do you?
It's getting closer, though. Looks like Baltimore might have put a couple points on the board.
Oh, look at that. The Orioles taking the lead in the top of the 9th.
A little clutch.
That's huge.
Osuna has not had, he's had 3 bad outings in a row now. Roberto Osuna, closer for the Blue Jays.
There goes Lagares. Rivera hits it out to center field, chasing Yelich back, but he'll get there, and he runs it down to end the inning. Mets strand 2. Familia going for 50 saves when we come back. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Astoria Bank. The difference is wanting to make a difference. Visit AstoriaBank.com. On the all-new 2017 Hyundai Elantra, it's not just new, it's better. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By New York Lottery, take a break from the expected. Play scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. And by Toyota, visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Jerry's Familia looking for save number 50.
Well, you can only get to that point, as Keith was talking about Addison Reed, who's had a fantastic year to set it up for Familia. And this could be record-setting.
Derek Dietrich batting for Danny Echeverria, leading off in the last of the ninth. Jeff Francoeur is out on deck to bat for the pitcher. Familia pitched last night, a scoreless inning in the ninth after sitting out for 4 straight days. Blowing into Dietrich, 1-1. Dietrich walked against Familia as a pinch hitter last night, leading off in the ninth. That was in a 12-1 game here in a save situation after Reed pitched a scoreless 8th. Now that's on the corner with a slider, 1-2. Familia trying to join just a dozen other closers who've ever reached 50 saves in a season. 1-2 coming. Struck him out. Familia fans Dietrich for the first out of the ninth.
Boy, sinker away for a strike, slider back door, and then a fastball four-seam upstairs.
So 1 away. Now Jeff Francoeur will be the pinch hitter. Slider to Frenchie for ball 1. By the way, in that game in Toronto, it was Hyun-Soo Kim who hit the 2-run homer in the top of the ninth to put the Orioles in front. There's a strike. 1-1 to Francoeur with D. Gordon on deck.
Remember, Kim's the one that signed the contract in spring training. Baltimore wanted to send him out to get more seasoning. He said his contract said I didn't have to be sent out. He did not go, made the team angry, and he might have saved their season.
Francoeur waving at the slider out of the sinker out of the strike zone. It's 1-2. Ugly cut by Francoeur, and now Familia up in the count. Meanwhile, they've gone to the 7th in St. Louis. Reds 2, Cardinals 1. Let's try to seal a win here and then get some help from Cincinnati. Giants and Rockies starting about 10 minutes out in San Francisco. One-two coming. Struck him out. Got him with a slider. Back-to-back strikeouts for Familia to start the last of the ninth. So now 2 out and nobody on. And here is D. Gordon with the Marlins down to their final out.
Gordon, who hit maybe one of the most improbable home runs in the first game of this series with a heavy heart.
Down the left field side, foul. 0-1. Well, that home run that Gordon hit will live forever.
Yes, it will.
Ball and a strike to Gordon. Gordon 1 for 4 tonight. One from Familia. Hit sharply. Loney with a terrific stop. He beats Gordon to the bag, and the ball game is over. Familia gets his 50th save. Loney handles the hot shot by Gordon to end it. Home runs tonight by James Loney and by Jay Bruce. Seth Lugo gets the win, and the Mets take the rubber game of the series and reduce their magic number to 3.
Beautiful play by Loney, but I'm glad he could have got clobbered, stepped on. Oh my goodness. Left himself exposed right there.
Gordon went over the top of him. No contact made. And all is well as Loney held the ball, avoided injury, gets Familia his 50th save, first Met ever to reach that plateau, and the Mets move that much closer to a wild card berth as they reduce their magic number to 3. And Terry Collins going over, and he's going to exchange handshakes and hugs with Don Mattingly. This has been an emotional series for both teams, obviously more so for the Marlins, dealing with the loss of one of their stalwarts. And the Mets have been as gracious as a visiting team could possibly be under the circumstances. The Marlins got a very emotional win on Monday night, and I think they all appreciated the way the Mets handled this. It's the last home game of the year for the Marlins, so they're throwing shirts to the fans as the Mets will head off to Philadelphia for their final series of the year. That's David Samson, the Marlins president.